A very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome back to Civics second year class. Yesterday, we have started with your third chapter, that is Union Government, and we have discussed about powers and functions of the President. Under that, we have discussed ordinary and emergency powers of the President. We also discussed about the powers and functions of the Prime Minister. So with that, we have discussed the powers of real executive as well as nominal executive. Today, we will discuss another important LAQ, that is powers and functions of the Parliament. Parliament, it is the law-making organ of the government. So today, we will discuss about Indian Parliament. What are its powers and functions? So, Indian Parliament, it consists of two houses. Okay, it is the law-making organ of the government. It consists of two houses, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, these are the two houses of the Parliament. Okay, so not only Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the President is also an important part of the Parliament. See, laws are made in the Parliament. Okay, the bills are passed from one house to the other house. When both the houses, the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they approve the bills, then the bill goes to the President, and President has to give his assent or approval. Then only that bill will become a law. Okay. Unless President gives his assent, the bill will not become a law or act. So, President is also part of Parliament. So, Parliament, it consists of President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The Indian Parliament, it is bicameral. That is, Lok Sabha, it is the representation of people. It is the lower house, and Rajya Sabha, it is the representation of states. It is the upper house. The members of Lok Sabha, they are directly elected by the people. So let us quickly move to the some of the important powers of the Parliament. First one is legislative powers. See, when we discussed your chapter 5, that is Union-State relations, I told you the legislative relations between Union and State, they are divided into three lists: Union list, State list, and concurrent list. So, Parliament has the power to make laws on the subjects included in Union list, State list, and concurrent list. Okay, Union list, you have all the subjects of national importance. In the event of, a constitutional emergency in the state, the powers of the state legislature will be transferred to the Parliament. Excuse me. So, during the emergency situation, the Parliament will make laws on the subjects included in the state list. That is, under special conditions, Parliament will make laws on the subjects included in the state list. And both Parliament and the state legislature has the power to make laws on the subjects included in the concurrent list. Okay, I hope I am clear with the legislative powers. Under legislative powers, Parliament will make laws on the subjects included in the Union list and concurrent list. But under special conditions, it will make laws on the subjects included in the state list. Okay. I hope I'm clear with the legislative powers. Now, coming to the next point, a bill becomes an act if it is passed by both the houses and signed by the President. Okay. I told you at the beginning when I started with this question, I told you President is a part of legislature. When bills are passed by both the houses, the President has to give his assent. then only that bill will become an act. Now, in case of deadlock, what do you mean by deadlock? Okay, here, what happens? A bill is passed from Lok Sabha and it is sent to Rajya Sabha. Bill passed from Lok Sabha and it is sent to Rajya Sabha. Now, Rajya Sabha, either it has to approve it or it has to reject it. But Rajya Sabha is returning the bill to Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha is returning bill to the Lok Sabha for making some changes in it. But Lok Sabha, it does not want to make any changes in it. So Rajya Sabha says, unless you make the changes, we will not approve this bill. The bill, either it has to be approved or rejected. So such situation, okay, such situation when the bill returned to the Lok Sabha is not ready to make the changes and Rajya Sabha is not ready to accept that bill unless the changes are done. Such situation is known as deadlock, where the fate of the bill, whether it is approved or rejected, that cannot be ascertained. Okay, deadlock is a situation where the fate of the bill, whether it is approved or rejected, is not ascertained. Such situation is called as deadlock. Okay, so when there is deadlock over a bill, then the joint sitting of the parliament is arranged. What do you mean by joint sitting? Both the houses, the members of both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they will sit together, they will resolve the differences. When both the houses, they are sitting together and discussing over a bill, that session or that sitting is called as joint sitting. The president will arrange the joint sitting of the parliament. Okay, and the laws which are made by the parliament, they are applicable throughout the country. Okay, I hope this first point is clear to all of you. Let us move to the next, that is executive powers. So what do you mean by executive powers? See, in India, the executives, the Prime Minister and his ministers, okay, Prime Minister and his ministers, they are the part of legislature. The party which secures maximum seats in Lok Sabha, that party will form the government. So the Prime Minister and his ministers, they belong to the party which has secured majority. Okay, so here the executive is a part of legislature. Okay, executive is a part of legislature. So they are directly responsible. The executives are directly answerable. Here, responsible means answerable. They are answerable to the Lok Sabha. Okay, for their policies and programs, for their decisions, the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, they are answerable to the Lok Sabha. How does the Lok Sabha or the Parliament controls the executive? By asking questions and passing resolutions. Okay, by asking questions and passing resolutions. If the government, that is the Prime Minister and his ministers, fail to satisfy the Lok Sabha, the members of Lok Sabha, if they fail to give satisfactory answers to the questions, then the Parliament can pass no confidence motion. So once the no confidence motion is passed, the Prime Minister and his ministers must resign. Okay, so here the executives are controlled by the legislature by asking questions and passing resolutions. Next is financial powers. So the Parliament, it controls the finance of the country. Okay, no tax can be imposed without the approval of the Parliament. government, it imposed tax on us, right? So without the approval of the parliament, government cannot government cannot impose any tax, okay, without the approval of the parliament. Okay, so government will prepare a budget for the country. Okay, that budget has to be passed by the parliament, has to be approved by the parliament. If the money bill or budget is rejected by the parliament, then Prime Minister and his ministers must resign. Okay, they cannot impose any tax on us without the approval of the parliament. So that is the financial power. Okay, if the budget is rejected, see, the money bill, it is related to the prestige of the government. If the budget of the government is rejected, then the Prime Minister has to resign. Next is power to amend the constitution. Amend means change. Who can amend the constitution? Only parliament. Only parliament has power to amend the constitution. Parliament can amend the constitution by 3 methods. There are 3 methods of amending the constitution. That is rigid method, flexible method, quasi-rigid and quasi-flexible method. Quasi-rigid and quasi-flexible method. In all these 3 methods, the parliament plays an important role. Okay, only parliament can initiate the amendment to the constitution. That means only parliament has the power to change or make changes in the constitution. Next is electoral functions. Electoral means something related to election. So whom does the parliament elect? The parliament elects the President of India, the Vice President of India, the Speaker of Lok Sabha, Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha, and Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, Deputy Speaker, Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha and Speaker of Lok Sabha, they are elected by the members of the parliament among themselves. Then the members of Rajya Sabha, they will elect the Deputy Chairman, and parliament, it elects the President and Vice President of the country. So that is their electoral functions. Electoral functions means something related to elections. So whom does the parliament elect? Parliament, it elects the president. The members of both the houses of the parliament will elect the president. Okay, the vice president is elected by the parliament. The speaker and deputy speaker of Lok Sabha, they are elected by the members of the Lok Sabha among themselves. And the deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha is elected by the members of Rajya Sabha only. Okay, this is the electoral function. Next is judicial function. Now, the parliament can impeach. Impeach means remove. Impeach means remove. If president, vice president, or chief justice of Supreme Court and High Court, they misuse their powers. Okay, if they misuse their powers, then the parliament has power to impeach them, remove them. So for that, they will pass a resolution called impeachment resolution. Through impeachment resolution, the president, vice president, judges and chief justice of Supreme Court and High Court can be removed. And parliament also plays a decisive role in the removal of the members and chairmen of various commissions like election commission or election commissioner, you can say, and the members of Union Public Service Commission. Okay, the parliament plays a decisive role. Parliament plays a, see, when it comes to removal of president, vice president, impeachment resolution is passed in the parliament. But for the removal of election commissioner, chairman and members of Union Public Service Commission, the parliament plays an important role. Next is deliberative functions. Deliberations means discussions. Deliberations means discussions. So in parliament, they discuss people's problems. Okay, and they try to take steps to resolve them. Deliberately, wantedly, they will, opposition party will put the problems of the people in front of the government. Then they will have discussions on that. They will try to, take some measures or steps to resolve the problems of the people. So deliberately, wantedly, they will, put the problems of the people in the house. The next is other functions. Okay. So other than money bill and budget, it also discusses bills related to the alterations of the boundaries of the states. Okay. If any state boundaries are to be altered, the bills are discussed in the parliament. Creation and abolition of legislative councils. Now, this legislative council, it is the second house, or you can say upper house of state legislature. The upper house of the state legislature is called as legislative council. So in previous classes, I told you there are 7 states in India which has got legislative councils. So any state, if they want to create legislative council in their legislature, then that bill has to be passed by the parliament. If any state wants to abolish legislative council, again the bill has to be passed in the parliament. Okay, now coming to the changing the names of the states. The bills has to be approved by the parliament for changing the names of the states. Okay, so this was your powers and functions of Indian Parliament. So let us now quickly discuss short answers from this chapter. The most important one is the election and powers of Vice President of India. Okay, so after President, the second highest authority in India is Vice President. Okay, next to President is Vice President. So he should be above 35 years of age. Any citizen who is above the age of 35 years is eligible to become the Vice President. And he should have the qualification prescribed by the parliament to become the member of Rajya Sabha. Okay, these points keep in your mind. He should be a citizen of India. He should be above 35 years of age. And he should be qualified. That means he should possess the qualification to become the member of Rajya Sabha. Okay, to become the member of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so let us see how Vice President is elected. The Vice President is elected by the members of both the houses, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Vice President, he is elected by the members of both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. What is the method? Method is proportional representation of single transferable vote. Proportional representation. That means each member of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they represent a portion of population. Okay, for example, one member, just an example, one member of Lok Sabha, if he is voting, that means if he is voting and if he is representing 10,000 people. Just an example. One member of Lok Sabha, he is representing 10,000 people. So his vote is counted as 10,000, not as one. Okay, because he is representing 10,000 people. So that is proportional representation. That is called as proportional representation. And what is transferable vote? Okay, so vice president, he should get a required quota, an X amount of vote. If he's not getting, the other member who has got less votes, his votes can be transferred. Okay, so there is proportional representation of single transferable vote. One time you can transfer the vote. So this method is the method of electing the vice president. The members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they elect the vice president. See, remember these 2 points. When you talk about election of vice president, he is elected by the members of both the houses of parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And when you talk about the method of election, what is the method of election? Proportional representation. Proportional representation of single transferable vote. Single transferable vote. So here, the members who have voted for the second candidate, they can transfer their votes to the other person. Okay. Next is vice president functions. What are his functions? The second part of the question is, what are his functions? See, vice president, he performs only 2 functions. He has only 2 functions to perform. The first one is, he is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. He is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. By default, whoever becomes the vice president, he is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, keep this in your mind. Vice president, he is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. As a chairman of Rajya Sabha, he conducts the meetings of Rajya Sabha. Okay, he presides over, he conducts the meetings of Rajya Sabha. If the votes over a bill in Rajya Sabha are divided equally, if the votes are divided equally over a bill, then the vice president can cast his vote. Otherwise, he need not cast his vote. Only in a situation where the votes are equally divided. When the votes are equally divided, under such condition, the vice president, not as a vice president, but as the chairman of Rajya Sabha, he will cast his vote. Okay. So, under the chairman of Rajya Sabha, there are 3 points. The first is vice president. He is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. He presides, means he conducts the meetings of Rajya Sabha, and he will cast his vote whenever the votes are equally divided over a bill. Okay, otherwise he will not give his vote. Then the second function of the vice president is, he acts as the president. He is an acting president. When will he act as a president? When will he become a president? Okay, a vice president, he becomes the president when there is a vacancy to the position or office of the president. What are the conditions? Under what conditions there will be the vacancy to the position? Why that office will be vacant? There are 3 conditions. One is due to the death. If the president dies, then the vice president will act as the president. Or if the president is removed, if the president is removed by the parliament, if he is impeached, then the vice president will act as the president. And if the president submits his resignation, if he resigns, Okay, when president resigns, then the vice president will become the president. Okay, so vice president, he becomes the president when there is vacancy to the office of the president due to death, removal, or resignation. So when vice president is acting as a president, he enjoys all the powers of the president and he receives the salary of the president during that period. Okay. When the vice president is acting as a president, he enjoys all the powers of the president and receives the salary as the president only. Okay. Then when he is acting as a president, what about the chairman of Rajya Sabha? Who will be the chairman of Rajya Sabha? When vice president is acting as a president, then who will conduct the meetings of Rajya Sabha? For that, they'll have deputy chairman. Deputy chairman will conduct the meetings of Rajya Sabha. Okay. So how long? For how long the vice president can hold the office of president? The vice president can hold the office of president for not more than 6 months. Not more than 6 months. Okay, if the office is vacant due to the death, within 6 months, new president has to be elected. If president is removed, then vice president will become the president. Within 6 months, new president has to be elected. If the president gives his resignation, then the vice president will become the president, and within 6 months, new president has to be elected. So for how long the vice president will act as president? For a period of 6 months, not more than 6 months. Okay. So if you are writing this answer like this, you will get 5 on 5. It's a very simple answer. You must keep few things in your mind. What is the position of vice president? He is the second highest authority. Who can become the vice president? Any citizen. That is, the condition is only citizens. Foreigners cannot become the vice president. Only citizen of India who is above the age of 35 years can become the vice president, and he should possess the qualification to become the member of Rajya Sabha. Okay. So what is the method of election? It is proportional representation of single transferable vote, where the members of both the houses of parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, will vote for the vice president. Then the second part is what are the functions of the president? Vice president. The vice president, he performs only 2 functions. What are those? He is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. He is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So as the chairman of Rajya Sabha, he will preside or conduct the meetings of the Rajya Sabha. If the bills are divided equally, if the votes over a bill, if the votes over a bill are divided equally, then he will cast his vote. Then the second function is he acts as the president. He acts as the president. Under what conditions he will act as the president? When there is vacancy to the office of the president due to death, removal, or resignation. If president dies, or president is removed, or president resigns, under such situations, the vice president will become the president. So when he is acting as a president, he enjoys all the powers of the president. Okay, he receives the salary of the president. But for how long he can act as a president? He can hold the position for not more than 6 months. Okay, he has got only 6 months. within the 6 months, new president has to be elected. New president has to be elected. Next question is Speaker of Lok Sabha. The next important question for 5 marks is Speaker of Lok Sabha. Okay. So what are the functions of the Speaker of Lok Sabha? How the Speaker is elected. Okay. After general elections, the party which secures majority, the leader of that party will become the Prime Minister. Then who will conduct the meetings of the House? For that, we will have a Speaker. How is this Speaker elected? The Speaker is elected by the members of the House among themselves. The Speaker is elected by the members of the House among themselves. Okay. Usually, the Speaker belongs to the majority party. Usually, the Speaker belongs to the majority party. However, after becoming the Speaker, he acts as an non-partisan person. He acts as an non-partisan person. That means he does not, be the part of that party. He will be the member of the party, but he will act non-partisan. Okay, he becomes he becomes impartial. So what are his functions? He presides over the meetings of Lok Sabha. He conducts the meetings of Lok Sabha. He allows the members to ask questions to the government. He allows the members to ask questions to the government. Then he allots time for the members to introduce the bills and speak about the bills or resolutions. Okay. He not only gives the time to the members to ask questions, he also gives time to the members to introduce the bills and speak over the bills. Then he appoints the chairman of several parliamentary committees. For an example, if an impeachment resolution is passed by the parliament against the President of India, for that, before removing the president, they will inquire. They'll do the inquiry. So such inquiry committees are called as parliamentary committees. So such parliamentary committees are appointed by the Speaker. Okay, then no member of the House, no member of the Lok Sabha can address the House without his permission. If any member of Lok Sabha wants to speak in Lok Sabha, they have to take the permission from the Speaker. Okay, no member of the House can address the House without his permission. It is his responsibility to preserve the order in the House, to preserve the discipline in the House. Discipline of the Lok Sabha has to be maintained by the Speaker. Now, he can suspend the members for violating the rules of the House. If any member of Lok Sabha, if they are violating the rules of the Lok Sabha, then the Speaker has the power to suspend that member from the House. Then he exercises his vote in case of tie over a bill. So when the votes are equally divided over a bill in Lok Sabha, then the Speaker of Lok Sabha will give his vote. In Rajya Sabha, when there is tie over a bill, the chairman of Rajya Sabha will give his vote. Otherwise, he will not vote. Same in case of Lok Sabha, whenever there is a tie over a bill, that means the votes are equally divided. In such situation, the Speaker of Lok Sabha will cast his vote. He exercises vote. Then he presides. Presides means conduct. He conducts the joint session of the parliament. I told you, when is joint session conducted? Who arranges it? Joint sessions are arranged by the president when there is deadlock. When there is deadlock. That means when both the houses are in disagreement with each other over a bill. Both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they are in conflict over the bill. Then the joint session of the parliament is arranged by the president, and that joint session is presided by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. And it is the Speaker who decides the bill, whether it is a money bill or a ordinary bill. Okay, it is a power of the Speaker to decide whether it is a money bill or an ordinary bill. So these are some of the powers of the Speaker of Lok Sabha. They are very simple, 10 points, 10 simple sentences. Okay, 10 simple sentences. If you are learning, then you can easily score 5 on 5. Students never think that an answer is very lengthy. The moment you think, you are giving a negative signal to your brain that it is lengthy, it is hard to learn. Give positive signals to your brain. Okay, then you can learn the answers quickly. Only 10 points, only 5 points. Think like that. Have a positive attitude. Okay, so only 10 points will fetch you. 10 simple sentences. They are not very, lengthy sentences. Simple sentences will fetch you 5 marks. Okay, so let us now move to the next question. Judicial review. Now, what is this judicial review? Now, judicial review, it is the power of the court to validate the laws made by the legislature and the actions of the executive. If the laws made by the legislature and the actions of the executive, they are unconstitutional, then the court can declare such laws and actions or decisions as invalid. Okay. The Supreme Court has been given the power to decide whether a law made by the parliament or the state legislature and the decisions of the executive taken by the central or the state government is constitutional or not. Okay. Just now I told you it is the power of the court to decide whether the laws made by the legislature and the decisions taken by the executive are constitutional or not. If they are against the constitution, if any law or decision of the executive, any law made by the legislature and the decision of the executive, if they are against the constitution, then the court can declare it as invalid or ultra vires or unconstitutional. So once a law or the decision of an executive is declared as invalid, it cannot be implemented. It cannot be implemented. Okay. So this power of judicial review is given to the judiciary not only to safeguard the constitution, but also to ensure that all the organs of the government function within their jurisdiction. That means through this power of judicial review, the court will make sure that the other organs of the government, that is legislature and executive, they are not misusing their power. Okay. It is protecting the constitution as well as it is ensuring that the legislature and executive, they are not misusing their powers. And it also upholds the fundamental rights of the people in general. But when you talk about right to property, it is a legal right, ma'am. Right to property, it is a legal right. So this right, judicial review, it will uphold this right to property in particular. Okay. Okay. So here we have two cases. It has given a judgment in two cases, that is Golaknath and Keshavnand Bharti cases. Okay, these two cases are extremely important point of view of judicial review. Okay, if you these two cases were pertaining to property rights. Okay, these two cases, Golaknath case and Keshavnand Bharti case, these two cases were related to property right case. So court has given decision for these two cases. Okay, so this is your judicial review. If you don't remember, if you are unable to remember these two cases, you can write till here. Okay, till here. Judicial review also upholds the fundamental rights in general and right to property in particular. So if you are writing this, that is enough. So I hope judicial review is clear to all of you. You have understood it. It is a simple topic. Just keep in your mind. What is judicial review? It is the power of the court to validate the laws made by the legislature and decisions taken by the executive. If the laws made by the legislature or the decisions taken by the executive are not according to the constitution, then court can declare such laws or decisions as invalid or ultra virus or unconstitutional. So through this judicial review, the courts are protecting the constitution. I hope I'm clear with this. Next. The next is very short answers from this chapter. So yesterday when I started President, I explained you about Electoral College. What is Electoral College? It is the group of representatives. Electoral College, it is a group of representatives who elect the president. So the President of India, he is elected by a group of representatives called Electoral College. Okay. Did you understand what is an Electoral College? It is the group of representatives who elect the President of India. So what does it consist? What is the composition of this Electoral College? The Electoral College, it consists of elected members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So here, instead of writing like this, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, you can write Electoral College. It consists of elected members of both the houses of Parliament. You can write like this also. Or you can write elected members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Done. Okay. Next. It also consists of elected members of state legislative assemblies, the MLAs. The MLAs of all the states. The MLAs of all the states, they are the part of Electoral College. They elect the president. So members of Parliament, MPs, members of legislative assemblies of all the states, all the elected members. Okay. The next, you have elected members of legislative